Hi, I'm Sandy Chen, reporting for GameDev.net, and I'm here with Eyjolfur Gudmundsson of EVE Online. He's the lead economist for the world. And would you tell me, what does a lead economist do in the game development? It's not a usual position that we've heard of.
No, but I think they have been working with most developers that have been developing really large-scale MMO. Even though they don't have the role of an in-game economist after publication.
Do you work as part of the staff, or are you like a consultant?
No, I'm part of the staff. I'm a lead economist and heading the research and statistics unit. And we have about 5 individuals working in my unit, observing behavior for players.
Okay, and what kind of research do you do?
Well, generally speaking, EVE Online is a big, vast, capitalistic economy. With a player-driven structure, so that anything that is produced and sold in EVE is done by the players. And as such, they need to know what's happening on the markets. They need to know the trends, they need to know what is going on.
So, I mean, it's basically a mini economy.
Basically, a mini economy is.
Well,
not that much mini. There are 250,000 participants today, and Iceland only has 300,000 people living in it, so
well,
for us it's actually quite a big
economy. Would you
economy.
think of the EVE Online world as like Iceland compared to
the
rest of the world?
It is. We wouldn't want to say it was just as big as Iceland is today, but our objective is to have the EVE economy bigger than Iceland, hopefully by the end of this year.
So when you think about MMO and you compare it to real life, is it a more simple model?
It's most often a more simplistic model simply because you don't have the variety that you have in real life. But with an MMO like EVE, you have more than 5,000 items, of which that 3,500 or 4,000 can be produced by the players, or even more than that, in a variety of combinations and using variety of materials.
And is it like a stock market?
There is, the corporation as such has shares, so you can actually buy a share in a corporation. There is not an official stock market, but the players have tried to operate at least 2 stock markets, where they have bid and sell offers online.
And is the exchange rate pegged?
The exchange rate for the currency
yes.
of EVE Online. We have a very strict policy in the sense that this is a closed economy. It is.
But is it really?
The policy is really strict, and the reason for that is that our player community tells us that they want the players to advance on their own merit. They want to advance with their own blood, sweat, and tears, not being able to buy status. And as long as our players are thus inclined that that's what they want, we will keep this a closed economy.
You have faith that they won't go on eBay and start...
There's always somebody who wants to break the law. There's always somebody who wants to try to get a head start and try to buy their status in the game. But if we detect that, we take appropriate actions.
Okay. And why do you think an economist is important in game development, especially for MMOs?
Yeah, let's emphasize that I think this is important only for MMOs as such. And
but they're trying to do microtransactions and casual basis, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's still an MMO in the sense that you have people come together, and that's really the key, I think. As long as you have 2 people come together in any kind of environment, real life or online, and if they can pick up an item and drop an item, there will be trades. And even if you decide that you want to have an MMO that has no economic gameplay, you would have to design the game with economic thinking to avoid that. So there's no way for you to avoid thinking about the market, transaction, and exchange if you have a game where more than 2 people come together.
And what do you think is more important, the macroeconomics or the micro?
They are both very much important. They have to be synced together. You have to think about the economy as a whole, but you also have to think about the smaller units and what their incentives really are. So it's really about the incentives of the players and what is fun for them. And don't forget, this is a game, so you have to make sure that it's a fun game.
Right. So do you work with the design department, because they would have to balance some of the prices and rules, or I mean,
yes, the culture within CCP is a culture where people constantly are discussing ideas and discussing what needs to be done. So the designer, they look to us and ask us for advice about changes in the gameplay, and we send messages to them and say, hey, this is something that you should change, or this should be going this way rather than that way. So it's just like an interaction between a government and the central bank. There's going back and forth recommendations about what needs to be done.
Do you do anything in-game that would be like monetary policy? Increasing more money into the economy?
At least I could give a recommendation that lead to certain changes in the monetary supply. Yes. So in that sense, it would be a monetary policy. But in real life, the basic monetary policy is focused on the interest rate, which the central banks gives to the underlying banking institution.
Sort of an indirect sort of way.
And we don't have a central bank in EU, a super capitalistic society with no government, and hence there is no central bank.
And yet it's regulated by the economic forces.
It's not regulated but controlled. I mean, it's the economy, the economic forces which are really the people as such, are really the ones that are controlling the economy.
And you don't feel that you're controlling the economy?
I'm not controlling the economy, definitely
not. Or even nudging it?
Not nudging it. We are hands-off. My job is number 1, 2, and 3 to provide players with the information that they can use, consistent information that they can use to compare such as inflation or deflation, the value of the production, etc. And to be at hand if the content staff or the game developers need assistance in changing the gameplay for one reason or the other. But I do definitely not run the economy. And nobody really runs the economy. CCP does not run the economy of EVE Online because, as I said before, it is player-driven, number 1, 2, and 3. So if somebody decides that he wants to flood the market with a certain material he has been hoarding for a long time, the price of that material goes down right away, and that's the way it is. We do not.
But how do you build, I mean, to have this economy work, you need a certain amount of players.
Exactly.
So how do you build up to that point? Or do you just start the economy running even if you have like 10 players?
No, well, it all depends on the sheer power of individual players, etc. But with EVE, the objective is always to have it player-driven. But in the beginning, the NPCs provided majority of the products. So the NPC, they provided the products. Players could also buy blueprints and provide the products. And as the player base grew, there were more and more players that participated in the production, and we withdrew the NPCs. So today, more than 90% of all items in EVE are only player-produced, supplied, and traded.
And there's much differentiation between all these products?
No, that's actually one of the keys. They are homogeneous. The products look all the same if you use the same production process. And that makes the competition much more easier. So I
can see why this is a little bit more simplified.
Yeah, in that sense.
But have the differentiation.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can do certain things that affect your production process.
Okay, so you're more efficient in your product
making.
Either
time or material-wise,
Okay, so that's versus, I mean, I guess that's the different product differentiation is more of a it's more of advanced subtleties.
Yeah, it is, and then we get the variability through the supply side in that sense, meaning that you can advance your production skills. So the same item that looks the same and is the same might actually be produced with a little bit different blueprint or more efficient blueprint, etc.